Says the stream is live. We are live, everybody.
Live and ready to strive.
I'm here with Superflies for Super Guys. How we doing, Superflies?
You know, just buzzing and tripping like usual. Living the dream, living the dream.
All right, Superflies. So, I would typically do this is I just start out by reading your channel description, and then we'll get into some questions. All right.
Excellent.
So on Superflies for Super Guys, the channel description says, "My channel is all about fly tying and fly fishing. My name is Jody Sharp, and I have well over 60,000 hours of fly tying and fishing experience. I am a level 6 master fly tyer. My channel is for everyone from beginners to masters for everything in between. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and join in as I teach the joy of tying flies and fly fishing." So it looks, according to this, you joined or created this channel January 6th in 2023. You have 5,319 views. Now, when it says that you joined in 2023, were you actively posting anything in 2023, or when did you post your first video?
Right. So back then, in 2023, I pretty much mostly started watching other people, like not really chats, but like live streams. I was watching their videos. And then when I got about 6 months into it, I thought, hey, you know what? I got fly tying videos. I can put my fishing and fly tying videos up there. So that's what I started doing. But I wasn't posting on a regular schedule or anything. Like whenever I thought about it, I would just kind of post a video or post something up. And for about 3 years, nothing happened on my channel. I mean, I got around 35 subscribers, but I wasn't really actively hunting for them or searching for them. I was just kind of just like whenever I want, post it up and see what happens. And then on April 15th of this year, I was in somebody's live stream. I'm not going to talk about that, but I was in somebody's live stream. And that was the first live stream that I actually ever watched with anybody chatting and live streaming at the same time. And I really got into it. I was chatting with everybody, and everybody just made me feel right at home and welcomed. And yeah, it was just awesome. So I thought about it, and I was like, hey, you know what? I can live stream. I can tie flies and live stream. So I'm like, I'm going to do that. So that's what I did. I went into my studio, set it up so that I could live stream. I found out that I had enough time. Apparently you're supposed to need 50 subscribers to live stream, but on that channel I only had 35. So I'm like, how am I gonna live stream? But they let me. So yeah, so I don't know. I just went live. I didn't even know I needed the 50 at the time. I just tried it, and they said you got to wait 24 hours, and then they let me go for it. So I'm like, all right. But we all know YouTube, right? They change the rules all the time, and they do all these pilot programs, and they throw some people into it not knowing. So you could be in a pilot program with YouTube and not even know that they're making these changes. They're testing stuff out on us all the time.
Right.
So yeah, so I tried it, and they let me. And so from in the last 49 days, I've gone up to 187 subscribers.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's just from A, doing live streams myself, and B, just going to other people's live streams, hanging out in there, chatting it up. And usually every time I go to somebody's live stream, I walk out with at least 2 or 3 subscribers.
Yep.
And that's not begging or anything. That's just me being me. And people are like, Superfly, what's your channel? I'll subscribe to you. So
there you go.
Just be yourself, and people will be attracted to you. Unless you're unless you're a complete idiot, then don't be yourself. Then try to
Right.
be,
And pretend you're smarter. Yeah.
try to
Like,
be
that's
somebody
what I
better.
do. That's
But
what I
if
do.
you're a loving, kind person, like I'm a loving, kind, love sharing person. So, I'm out there sharing love to the world and just, the other thing about me is like, I hope I never come off as conceited about my fly tying or whatever, but I have been at it for a long, long time. So, when I started tying flies, I tied crap flies too, just like every other beginner. And I just experimented and experimented until I built myself up, 35 years later. This is where I'm at. So and I'm older than Google, right? So, I mean, I'm 48 years old now. I was tying flies back in high school before we had internet, before we had Google. We didn't have any of that stuff. I didn't even have really good access to libraries or nothing. So there was no like YouTube, none of that stuff. So I was just throwing stuff on hooks to see what looked good, how it float. Anything was a material to me, an old coat,
Right.
anything. I was getting hooks wherever I could get them. And then just over 35 years, I just worked at it and worked at it and worked at it, and now I can pretty much tie anything. So if I had to tell anybody anything, it's just never give up, just keep doing it and enjoy what you're doing, and don't let anybody else tell you what you're doing is wrong or different or whatever, because they don't know you. They don't know your skills, they don't know your level, they don't know your abilities. Don't listen to the haters, because you know what? There's tons of haters out there, but there is also tons of people who are going to love you, like Fishy and Emmy. They love me, and Papa loves me, and G-Man loves me, and a bunch of people you've already interviewed. They love me. So, you know what, guys? Just be you. Just be the authentic you, and the world will gravitate to you. And that's all I can say about that.
All right, I want to go off script because I do have a specific question that just popped in my head. So, as I was reading your description, what is a level 6 master fly tyer? Like, how many levels are there? Who verifies this mastery level? Like, what does it take to get there? Break this down for me. I've never heard of this before.
Right. So most people don't understand what that is. And basically, so mastering anything in life, it doesn't matter whether you're an auto mechanic, a fisherman, a baker, whatever you do in life, a musician, if you put 10,000 hours into anything that you do, you are considered a master. Because after 10,000 hours of beating the drum or baking those cakes or working under the car, you've got a working knowledge of anything that goes on with that topic. So the thing is, every time you put another 10,000 hours into something, you gain another master. So like, it just means that you're just that much more knowledgeable and that much more competent. So anybody can be, like, if you put 10,000 hours, you can be a master at anything.
So by saying you're level 6, you're saying you've got 60,000 hours of fly tying in?
60,000 hours.
Okay. All right.
Every time I'm in your chat there, Fishy, I'm always tying a fly in the background.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Right now we're chatting and I've got a fly half tied here in the vise. So when I say I tie a lot of flies, I'm not exaggerating.
All right.
I like, people are like, no, you didn't. Yeah, I did. I do. I tie like, my poor wife doesn't even like bugs. And I tie the creepiest bugs. So when I tie a crazy spider or a crazy, any kind of grub or beetle, I show it to my wife. If she cringes, I know I did a good job.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Look,
I wonder if I could figure out how many hours of fishing I've got under my belt. I wonder if I'm a master fisherman. I've probably got 10,000 hours in.
You fish a lot. I've seen, like, just in the time I've watched you, you might have got to 10,000 hours.
Yeah,
like, I see you fishing in the day, I see you fishing in the night, and I'm like, I'm sure you got a job other than fishing. So I'm like, you're working hard at that. I'm like, when does Fishy sleep?
When I need to. When
you crash, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when I burn out finally. I do squeeze naps in. Yeah, I've been fishing for oh God, at least 30 years. And really, since I started YouTube is when I started going every day. But there was, when I was a teenager, there, like every summer as a teenager, it was literally every day, every night.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, that was a lot of hours right there. And then as an adult, first kid and all that, I got away from fishing for a while, and then I got back into it. And then YouTube, I've been taking it to another level since I started on YouTube. Just because you gotta create that content. You know what I mean? So
Well, you're definitely a master fisherman there, Fishy.
thank
So
you.
it takes a master to know master. And the other thing about becoming a master, this is something that every master also knows. Like when you become a master, you start to understand once you've put that much hours into a thing that you will never know everything about the thing you're trying to learn, no matter how high
Yep.
of a master you become. There's always something to learn. There's always something to figure out, or a different technique to do it, or a different tool, or a different material. And the day you think you know it all, you've already become not a master at that point. You've already lost your masterhood, because if you think you're going to do it all, some of the best days I've had in my life were the ones where God humbled me. And what I mean by that is, there's days where I get out there, because last summer I had a lot of 300 fish days where I went out and I caught 300 fish in like 4 hours. And those are good days. But you get to the point where you're like, oh yeah, I know everything. Everything is good. I know everything about the weather and the conditions and the flies I'm using and the baits and all these things. And then when you get too high on your horse, God goes, you know what, son, I got to knock you down a peg. And those are the days where he brings a kid with a push button Mickey Mouse Disney reel. And that kid catches like a monster pickerel beside you, or a huge bass, or the muskie, or a giant carp, or one of those, a huge smallmouth or something, and you catch nothing, or very little. So sometimes God does that to humble us, just to make us right. And I don't mind being humbled, because those days are the days I learn something. Days where I'm not catching 300 fish, it could be the weather, it could be the fly I'm using, it could be that it's too hot out or too cold out, and I dig into my fly case and I'm trying it, I'm switching up flies, and eventually you find something that hits. So my wife and my mom, they're always asking me, like, how come you carry a duffel bag? Like, I got a duffel bag full of flies. Like, I carry a lot of flies. And they're like, you never use any of those flies. And I'm like, I do. I do use them. You just don't see me. Because I go out and I have an inflatable pontoon, right? So I go away from shore. I take the duffel bag, and I'm out there. They just don't see me changing all the flies. But so, I like to change it up and find out what works. Because you know what? There's so many flies that work. And for me, I'm a small game fisherman. So I like to catch smaller fish. So like anything 5 pounds and under is where you'll find me. So like smallmouth, largemouth, rock bass, sunfish, crappies, perch, not gobies, but I don't like catching gobies. But chubs. I like to catch chubs and little shiners, and I like to catch littler fish, because I think people don't really appreciate them as much as they should. No. And the other thing is, it's so fun to tie up some little tiny fly, and I spend hours. Like here's a like a dragonfly, little dragonfly nymph. It's not very big, but those fish, when those fish come up and grab that with, it just, something about that just jazzes me, especially the top water bite. So if I've got a floating fly up on the top, and you could just see those fish, the water swells, you see them jump up and grab those fish. It just jazzes me up. And I see these guys on the shore, and I'm not putting anybody down, don't get me wrong. I see these guys on the shore hunting for muskies, and that's what they want to catch, is a huge muskie. And they're 10,000 casts into it, and they don't get a muskie on the shore. And I'm here having 300 fish days. it's just so, for me, it's so exciting. In my spirit, it's exciting. If you got the patience to fish for big fish, go for it.
Well, see, I kind of have the best of both worlds, right? So I do a lot of catfishing, a lot of catfishing, right? And pike and muskie and all that too. But for catfishing, especially for flathead, but even for channel cats and everything else, I use live bait. So I have every time I go fishing, I have to have already have gone fishing for smaller fish, and I usually have to catch like 10 or 20 fish to bring
Right.
in every time I go fishing. So a lot of people don't see on the channel the other half of all the fishing I do. So I mean, every time you see me catch a catfish, I probably had to catch at least 10 bluegill for bait to go catfishing for that catfish, right? So, I mean, if you see me go live fishing 100 times in a year, I've probably caught 1,000 fish. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
every time I had to catch at least 10 fish to go fishing.
How come you don't show us you catching the bait?
I don't. Well, okay.
Are
There's a
you
couple reasons. There's a couple reasons. One, some of my best bait fishing spots are either A, in a place where I don't get reception, B, very crowded, like a lot of other people fish there too, and I don't like shooting live in front of a whole bunch of other people. You know what I mean? We're elbow to elbow. And then three, so when I'm bait fishing, I'm trying to get the bait and get out of there, right? I'm trying to do it quick. I only have so much time in a day, and I want to dedicate the most of my time to being live trying to catch the big one, right?
Yeah.
So I'm rocking one rod, and I know, when you guys see me live, I've always got 3 rods in, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for the big one. But when I go bait fishing, I'm rocking one rod, and I am moving. I am moving. I am working it. I'm trying to get my bait as fast as possible, and I don't want anything else slowing me down or interfering. I don't have time to talk to a chat. I don't have, you know what I mean? And so yeah, bait fishing is all business for me. It's fun, but I'm getting there. I'm getting the bait, and I'm getting out of there. I ain't got time to go live for that.
If I wasn't in Canada, you'd probably enjoy my company. You'd be like, "Fly, fill up this bucket for me."
What's funny about bait fishing is, I mean, it is very similar to big fish fishing in that the season, the time, the temperature, the weather, everything changes the bait fish too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's not like there is no easy. There's certain times of the season, certain times of the year, certain weather patterns where it is easy. I can show up and I can catch 50 fish in 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There are times like that, but it is not like that year round. There's no magic. Oh, every time this honey hole every time produces. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I understand that. So like here in Ontario, our season this year is super slow. Like the weather has been just like the ice took so long to come off the lakes. The water has been slow. Even the trout fishing was slow. Like everything was slow spawning. Our sunfish usually are well done spawning by now. They're just in the middle of their spawning now. Like it's just everything is slow. So usually by mid-May, I'm into those 300 fish days. This year, my best day was last week, and I only got 80 fish. So, I mean, and that sounds like a lot to some people, but to me, it's not a lot. And I'm not bragging. I legitimately count them on a counter, and my wife counts them on a counter too to keep me honest. And like I count them and I mark them down and I record them because I just like to be honest with people. And there are days like earlier in the spring, my first trip out, I got 2 fish. So and then my next trip out, I think I got 6 fish. And like it's been a very slow starting year. And I haven't even been like the water just this week has been warm enough where I can go out in the float tubes or in the pontoons. I've been fishing from shore this whole time. So like the water has just been cool and the fish have been not at it. So
not sure how far north in Canada you are, but I bet you're at a few weeks to a month behind where I'm, because that's how it was for me the last couple of months. It's just like I was like, man, it's really tough to just get a couple bluegill right now. You know what I mean? That's how it
Absolutely.
was at the beginning of spring for sure, and it's just been in the last I don't know 3 weeks or so that it's starting to pick up more and more, and it's getting easier. Now I'm able to go out and catch 50 to 100 bluegill in one day if I want to. You know.
Those
Um,
are, those are nice days. I love catching over 100 fish. Like it just you go
I
out
don't
and
I
it's
don't
just
typically do that. I think our bag limit here for panfish is like 25 in a day now. It used to be 50. They dropped it down to 25. So I get my 25 and I get out of there. Then I'll go back the next day and try and get another 25. Um, but yeah, I don't know. And then but before the bluegill will even bite, one of the first things I go after is the creek chubs.
oh
If
yes.
if you can get under like those overpasses in the creeks where the road meets the creek and it's got that big metal well in there, that's a great creek chub spot usually. And you can usually get them in there pretty easily in early spring, like after the ice melts and everything. You usually start getting creek chub. That's usually the first thing I go after.
I, I,
Then
I love creek chub.
and then after that, I'll start targeting bullhead. I got a few spots on the river up north. Well, not up, like 30 minutes north of me here, where I can catch bullhead once spring gets a little bit warmer. Yeah, I really have to wait. You need it to be about, I'd say, you need a steady 60-degree temperature for the bluegill to really start feeding. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then the hotter it gets, the more it seems like the bluegills act up. I mean, when it's like 90 to 100 degrees, like the bluegill are on fire, you know? They're
Yeah.
deep and crazy.
Last sorry, we got stupid pigeons on our balcony. Last week was the first week where they were actually coming up for top water. So up until last week, every fish that I was fishing for was hitting, deep. Like I had to have sinking flies. So this last week was the first top water bite, and I was like, yes, please keep it this way because I love the top water bite.
Thank you, Jackson. 3 months, Fishy Friends member, Fishy Fingers. Wait, what is it? Fishy Friends member. Yeah. 3 months a member. Appreciate you, Jackson. Sorry.
No worries.
Let's see here. Where are we at? I've hardly asked any of my questions.
I derailed you, did I?
No, it's good. It's good when the questions are more natural and I don't have to read them off the script. I'm just genuinely interested in what's going on. It's good. So you already talked about how you created your YouTube channel, the why you created your YouTube channel, why YouTube specifically. Like, what was it about YouTube? Like, when did the thought first hit you? Like, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel. I know you kind of touched on it already, but let's go a little deeper in there.
Um, I think it was well because I wanted to show off my skills, and I not to be a show off, but I mean I wanted to teach people the skills I had, and I really wanted to reach the next generation of fishermen because us guys are getting older now, and fly fishing seems to be I don't know about like there's some states I know from watching YouTube and stuff. There's some states where fly fishing is more prevalent than others, and then here in Canada, fly fishing is very not a lot of people do it in Canada. There's not a lot
Yeah.
of fly tyers or fly fishermen. There are some, but not a whole lot. So I just wanted to. I've been always wanting to reach out to that younger generation and just let them to revive fly fishing and just let them know like that's still an art, it's still a skill, and for me it kept me out of trouble. So like when I was in high school, I was a little pudgy kid. I got bullied all the time. I had glasses. I was a bug fanatic, and a lot of people didn't understand me. Like they're just like this. What's wrong with this kid? And I got bullied all the time, like all the time. So by time I had reached high school, I was pretty much. I hate to say it. I was done with life. I was ready to do myself. I was ready to do myself in. But you know what? When I got into high school, I found a teacher His name is Konstantin Paputzis, and he was like an angel. He saw that I was bullied all the time. He saw that I was just he saw that I was a depressed young teenager, and he invited me into his fishing club because at our school we had a fishing club, and I came to the fishing club, and on my very first meeting, they pulled out the fly vices, and we were tying flies, and everybody was like, "Yeah, this is okay." But I took to it like a duck to water. I was like, "Yeah, I love this fly tying." So I came to like 3 or 4 months of coming to the club and going out fishing with the guys. And every time I was like, let's do fly tying. Let's do fly tying. So finally, after about 3 months, he bought me my first fly vise. So I got my first fly vise. I took it home. He sent me home with a package of hooks, and I had all kinds of materials. And after that, I was just I was living the dream after that, because I wasn't worried about bullies. I wasn't worried about what was going on. I just sat home and tied flies, and I became so addicted to it that I became like, in 4 years I became like the club's only like pro member fly tire, and I even got invited to do a fishing tournament for our school. So like all the schools in the district every year were invited, had one student from their school that could come in the fishing tournament, and it was like a trout tournament. And I went into that tournament, and I was the only guy with flies, which wasn't what I caught the fish on that day, by the way. But anyways, so it was a hot day, and nobody was catching nothing. And then close to the end of the day, we all had to gather together at this certain point on the river. And when I got there, it had just started raining. Like, it had been so hot all day, and then it just started raining really hard. And we were all fishing there, waiting for the judging and all that kind of thing. And nobody had caught nothing. Nobody, not a single fish. And so when it started raining, I got this idea in my head. Hey, worms wash into the water when it rains. So I'm like, I have worms. And I was the only guy who had worms, because my teacher had recommended, he goes, because I fished flies all day, and he goes, I want you to take these worms and just try them at some point. So I'm like, okay, so all day I fish flies, but at this last point, I'm like, it's raining. My flies hadn't been working all day. So I'm like, dang it. Okay, on goes a worm. I was the only kid with worms. Put on a worm, cast it out. First drift, bang, caught the first fish. Nobody had caught any other fish. So I'm like, yes. And we're like 10 minutes till the judging, right? So I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Anyways, next, we measured it all up and whatever. Next fish, next put on a worm, next drift, boom, another fish. I'm like, yes, yes. Nobody had caught nothing. So here's the story, though. This is where the story changes. So I'm the only guy with 2 fish, and another guy came down, and he's like, what are you using? And I'm a sportsman, so I'm like, you know what? I'm using worms. Can I get a worm? Sure. I give the guy a worm. I give him a worm. First drift, boom, catches a fish. Second drift, or then he goes, can I get another worm? I'm like, you know, this is a competition, right? So he said, okay. So he goes and digs up a worm. He puts it on, next drift, boom. We're now down to like 3 minutes. Last 3 minutes, this other kid comes down. What are you guys using? I looked over at the guy on beside me, and I'm like, don't tell him. I mean, we're already sportsmen, right?
Right.
Anyways, he tells this kid, he goes, we're using worms. I'm like, oh. I'm like, okay. So the kid goes, he digs up a couple of worms, comes, puts them on. He gets 2 fish, and he beat both of us. And the other guy beat me as well, that I gave the worm to. And I was like, dang it. And it was, so, you know, but when I got back to school, I thought, oh man, they're going to kill me at school. I represented our school, and I was an idiot. And then my teacher and I got a standing ovation, and they were like, you know what? You may have blown the tournament, but you were the one with the secret. So we know that you knew what you were doing.
Right.
And you were a good sportsman, which is more important than being a winner, is being a good sportsman.
Yep.
And they said, you might not have won the trophy and the vest and got your name in the paper and all that thing, but you're the better man, and you can carry that with you. And that's how I kind of live my life. Like, it's just like, you know what? It's not important to be the best. It's just important to be the best you can be. It's not important to be the best. You don't have to outdo people. You don't have to outfish people. You just got to go out there and have fun and just enjoy it. And you will be more at peace with your soul than if you're just, I got to be the best at everything.
Right.
You're only in competition with yourself. So like, obviously I try to be better than I am tomorrow. I'm going to try and be better tomorrow than I am today, but I'm not going to try and be better than the guy next to me. You know, some people look at my flies and they go, "Oh, super fly, you're super awesome and you're amazing and whatever." But if you see some of these guys in China or Europe or some of these other countries, some of these guys are tie-in flies that put my stuff to shame, and I'm not even a bit sad about it. As a matter of fact, I'm excited about it because it makes me to know that there's somewhere I can go. There's somebody I can learn from. There's something, because if I knew everything and could tie every fly and every bug that God put on this planet, I'd be pretty sad if I tied it all. If I reached the end of my life and tie every bug and know every technique and everything, I'm going to be pretty darn sad about it, because every day I try to learn 3 new things. That's my goal in life. Every day I try to learn 3 new things, specifically in fly tying, but sometimes there are other things I learn in puppetry or whatever, but I always try to learn 3 new things, and I'm happy about that. And the day I learn it all, God better come and get me, because I'm done here.
I just try to forget less today than I forgot yesterday.
Now
I was born knowing everything, you know. So
that happens. That happens too, Fishy. You know that saying, if you don't use it, you lose it?
Yeah.
There's some flies that I tied like 5 years ago that I haven't tied since then, and I look at them because I always keep one of every fly that I ever tie, especially the first one. So I look at it and I go, how the hell did I do that? And I have to re-examine and relearn what I did, because I've tied so many that I'm like, I got to figure it out what I did back then when I did it. I can't even remember.
I got to throw a couple shout outs real quick. Northern Fishing, thank you for being a member for 7 months.
Nice.
Fishing with Papa, thank you for joining the Fishy Friends. All right, let's get back to it now. All right,
Nice.
so you're trying to learn 3 new things every day. You're always trying to get better. Do you have any future goals specific to YouTube, or is it just kind of enjoying the journey and trying to better your personal craft of fly tying?
Okay, so really at its basic core, I am just enjoying the journey. I do have a goal. So I have no goals of monetization at all. I don't want any of that. I don't want any gifts. I don't want any kind of things like that. What I do want, I would like, anyways, if I don't get it, it's cool. But if I can get the chance to get it, I would like a play button, a YouTube play button, and 10,000 friends.
What is the play button? I've heard other people talk about that. J.R. Bud said that when I interviewed him too.
You don't even know what a play button is?
No, what is that? How do you get it? What is it? Okay,
so basically, Fishy, if a channel gets 10,000 subscribers, you can get a play button, and you don't have to be monetized to do it. You can get it without being monetized, unless they may change the rules at some point. But as of right now, you just need 10,000 subscribers, and you can get a play button from YouTube. And it's just basically a plaque.
Like a trophy?
They said, like a trophy. They send you a plaque with your channel name on it. I think the first one's silver. They have different levels play buttons. So like the more people you get, and you know, you can
And you
get,
just need 10,000 subscribers.
yeah. No, sorry, not 10. Not 10. 100,000. 100,000.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah, that's
Yeah, sorry.
okay. That's
Not
awesome.
100,000. That's in Superfly's mind. No,
Okay.
you need 100. You need 100,000 subscribers. So that's what I'm looking for. A play button and
Yeah.
100,000 friends.
That,
And you
that
know
would
what?
be cool.
Like all the rest of it, Fishy is just about having fun. Like I said, sharing what I know with the next generation, meeting cool people, and I gotta tell you, like in the last 49 days since I started live streaming, I was starting to get a little bit. I'm not gonna say depressed, but I was starting to feeling like the world was kind of getting crummy, and I'm not gonna get into all the politics and things, but I'm just gonna tell you, like I was just feeling the world was getting crummy, but
Yeah.
but since I started this live chatting with you guys on your live streams and stuff, I gotta tell you, like it really revitalized me, and I've really seen a lot of hope in the world now, and I feel the hope. I feel that there's a lot of love out there, and a lot of the community is out there to support you,
Yep.
and people like to see people doing good things. So
I gotta tell you, I love the fishing community so much. It's like this secret little pocket universe of just like hope and happiness and
absolutely,
vibes. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of craziness in the world, but this little corner of the universe, the fishing community, man, we're good people.
it just seems like we just know how to come to, now don't get me wrong, there's some doughheads out there, but
Well, sure.
for the most part, it seems like us fishing people, we have an understanding, and we just want to lift each other up and just support each other and just spread that love around. And you know, it makes you feel good. Like it just makes you like, I know I'm not alone. For a while I was starting to feel a little alone, but you know, since I started this journey 49 days ago, I don't feel alone anymore. Like I've made so many really incredible friends. Now most of you are Americans, so yay to the USA. Like
We're all fishermen. You know,
you
I
guys
like
are
to say, because like, we got Pierre Coops and Paul Van Wolferen and Burkos. Like there's a lot of members of the community that are like totally across the sea. Some of them don't even speak the same language. But you know what? I speak fishing in every language. I know what a big fish is, no matter where you are in the world. I see you catch a big fish, I'm happy for you, and I know you're happy. I can watch that. I don't need to know what you're saying.
absolutely. Like I also like a lot of my new friends are from the UK. So the UK is full of great fishermen, and now the only problem is they're like 4 or 6 hours ahead of us. So usually when I'm like live streaming, most of my friends from the UK are sleeping,
Right.
and I understand. You know what? I understand that, but you know what? They may not be catching me in my lives all the time, but they usually let me know that they're watching my videos, and you know they're commenting on all my videos, and they're supporting me in other ways, and I really appreciate that. And so even though like there's all different time zones and time differences, that's the other thing. Like the good thing about YouTube is you record a live, it's still getting put out, so people who didn't get to be there live can still see what happened. And
Yeah.
that's the cool thing about YouTube. I was trying to go back to your other question about YouTube. I was trying. I was on Facebook for a long time before I was really on YouTube, and I find that Facebook is kind of dying now. There's a lot of more people are looking for YouTube because the interactions are different, and my Facebook audience died. Like they pretty much it took me forever to build them up, and then they just collapsed, and I'm just like, what the heck happened? So I still use Facebook. I still have my Facebook groups. There are very little people in them, but it's really a cool. Facebook is, or YouTube is really cooler. It's just the audience and the connections and the response is just, you grow faster. And if you're, the more active you are on YouTube, the
Mhm.
more active the people are with you on YouTube.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yep.
Whereas on Facebook, I was constantly posting and posting and posting, but that interaction just wasn't there. And here it just seems to be like as you go, I hit that go live button, and people just start popping out of the woodwork to watch me, and I'm like, whoa! I had 78 people watching me today. It's like, where did they come from? Like, and there's sometimes like I just plan to go on for a minute or two live just to tie something simple, like a little simple bug that should take me a minute or two, just tie it up, show people a simple thing. But anyways, I get caught up in a chat, and an hour and a half, 2 hours later, here I am chatting away, and I'm like, where did you guys come from?
The other night, what was that, like 3 or 4 days ago? I told my wife Emmy, I was like, I think I'm just gonna go live for like an hour quick, just to do it. I just want to get some lines in the water real quick. 6 hours later, I'm coming home. And I'm like, well, I caught 7 catfish, so couldn't just walk away. That was supposed to be 1 hour, and like we didn't even get dinner. I was like, I'll just get dinner when I come back. I'm only gonna go live for like an hour. And we ate dinner at like 1 a.m. That's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, that's the other thing, right? The bigger we get on YouTube, the harder I feel bad about it. So like, I shouldn't feel bad. I'm a small channel, so I've got 287 subscribers, but I'm already starting to visit so many other chats and lives that when I get up in the morning, I turn on my computer, I get in, I find out who's the first live, I go there. But while I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go on theirs, all of a sudden another one pops up and another one, and I'm like, oh, but I got to go say hi to them, and I got to go say hi to them. And it's like, I don't like I'm a loyal person, right? So I'm one of these really loyal to you people. So what I don't enjoy is all this having to spread my love thinner and thinner, so that I want everybody to get some of my love, but it's like, oh, I saw this person's online, I really want to catch them, but I'm already here. So then I find I'm doing more live chatting, but less in each chat. Like I'll get like a few minutes in each one. And then we all move around like a swarm, right? So we're all doing the same thing. Because, you get into that, you go, oh, I'm going to go visit this chat. And you're just like, wait a minute, didn't I see you 6 in that other chat? And now I've got like, often I'll have 3 windows open at a time, because I just can't pick who I'm going to stay with. Because it's like, I want to hear. So I got my headphones on because my wife could never tolerate that. And I'm here. I'm listening to 3 different people chatting, and I'm trying to respond. I don't know. I'm gonna have crippled fingers by the time I'm done, because I'm like,
wait till you have like 3,000 subscribers, and then you're trying to support all your 3,000.
I'm super scared about that, to be honest. Like, it's what I want. I want that, but I'm like, the other thing is like, I get back to people's comments. So if you leave me a comment, I like to get back to it. But then I'm thinking, if I get 100,000 subscribers, how the hell am I going to answer everybody's comments? Like how? Like I'm not going to.
I'll tell you what happens. Once you get, I say that starts to happen after you get over 1,000 subscribers. Is you pretty much have to have recency bias. So it's, who have I seen lately? Who's been in my lives lately? Whose names am I seeing that are hanging out with me and talking to me when I'm live? And then that's who you go and support, because there's just too many to support everyone. So you just got to support the people that you're seeing lately. So, I mean, there were people there, and I still try to go back and support a lot of the people that like I first started with my journey with. But I mean, there's people that when I first started my channel, like I was going in their lives every day, and they were going to mine, and then they stopped coming around. So then I stopped going around, and you know what I mean? And like, and then, you end up finding out there's certain people that are supporting you just because you're supporting them. And then there's other people that are supporting you because they literally like your content. And those are the ones you gotta, support back. Like if they, and you can't have hard feelings about it. It's like, well, if they don't like your content, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there are people who will like your content, and those are your people. So.
Absolutely. Speaking of our people, I just want to do two quick little shout outs.
Go for it.
I want to shout Papa out because I know when he came on your, when you interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, he was one of the ones calling me out to you guys, to you and Emmy. And I just want to say thank you to Papa. And I also want to say a huge thank you to G-Man, because I know last Sunday I was in watching you guys interview G-Man, and he was another one who's, when you asked him who to shout out, shouted me out. So all you guys shouted me out. I just want to say, you know what? I really appreciate it. I love you guys. I really, really do. And I appreciate all the support from you guys. And yeah, it's really, really cool. Oh, and I want to shout out Emmykins, because as we know, you guys who all know me know I have eye issues. So when I go into people's chats, the first thing I tell you is I got the eye issues because of the diabetes, and I get crystals in my eyes, and I can't see things clearly. But some people pick on me still in certain places, and I just want to say, Emmy, thank you for always being on top of that and helping me out when I've been in you and Fishy's chats, because it really means a lot to me. Because it does, for me, it does get tiring trying to defend myself. I've noticed that a lot of people are getting to know me now, so it's not as big of a deal now. So I appreciate it. But for all of you, like Papa and all you guys, G-Man and a bunch of you guys, when I'm in your chats, it really does mean a lot to me that you guys have supported me on this. And I really feel loved and welcomed. And I just wanted to get that out in the air and say, I love you guys. And it really does mean a lot to me and the Mrs. Superfly. So thank you guys for that.
No problem, man. No problem. We love you too. And you know what? If someone's got a problem with someone typing in all caps, they have problems too easy. I think they probably got a lot of problems. You know what I mean? that's
Yeah,
a silly thing
so
to get upset about. Like, get over it.
There's so many other things that are like worth fighting for, and we're fighting over caps, right? But I mean, the caps helps me see. And a lot of people have said, you know, Superfly, I'm an older person, or I've got eye issues, and it helps me as well. I just never I was never brave enough to say it, because of course they're not, who wants to fight people all the time, right? So they're just like, who cares? We'll just deal with it. But I fight for it because I don't like to leave people out. And I'm one of those people. So I don't want to be left out of the chats. I mean, I love you guys, and I love being a part of groups and stuff. So I'm not going to let my vision stop me, or any other disability. Like, you know, there's always a way to include people. If we really try, we can include everybody. I mean, if we really open our hearts and our minds, there are solutions. I mean, we live in an age where we can have a solution for any problem. So all this excluding people and stuff, it's not necessary. I mean, just come in, show the love, and let's go on with it. And especially the fishing community. What are we here for? To lift each other up and to enjoy fishing. So let's do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, and speaking of Emmykins, this is the Emmykins dragon I made for Emmykins.
Can you go full size on him, Emmy, for the dragon? Look at that. That is amazing.
That's the Emmykins dragon.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll try and get back into focus.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I think I posted it up in your community tab. So
yeah, I commented on it.
If you guys need a better look, or the audience, they can get a better look. And Fishy, I made a fly for you today, Fishy, which I'll have to post a picture up in your tab. But this was the fly I tied for Fishy today. So I know it's really tiny for Fishy.
Full screen, Emmy, full screen.
Well, it's all good. I
guys think of using StreamYard for the chumming it up.
There it is.
You guys liking it?
There it is. There you go.
All right, hold it nice and still. Okay.
Okay.
Very nice. Very nice. And what kind of fly is this? Is that a dragonfly?
It's just kind of, you know, it would kind of be in like the housefly pattern, but I made it up. I pretty much made it up for you. So all the colors and everything, I designed that out of my head. But if it were in a fly family, it would be like a house fly or a horse fly or something like that. But it's the fishy fly.
I mean, you look at a fly like that. This guy's on level 7 mastery. You know what I mean?
You're part of the fly family because there's my signature. You don't have to screen this, Emmy, but this is my signature super fly.
Okay.
So you're now part of the fly family there, Fishy.
Thank you so much, man. I'm honored.
You got your own, and it's even in the same box as my super fly. So like here's the box, and your fly, it goes in here with my super fly. I gotta pin them back in there, but this is the box where they'll be. So some of my crazy bugs.
You're definitely a master. You know how it flies, man.
I'm a master at something. But yeah, so I made those for you and Emmy this week because I really love you guys, and I'm really honored that you took the time to make a special appearance for me this week because I know you said you might be taking a break for the summer. So I really appreciate that you stepped up and did that for me. I love you guys. I love you guys so much.
I mean, if anybody really, really wants an interview, I'll still do them. I was going to try and save the interviews for winter when I don't do a lot of fishing.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Spreads out my content a little bit, you know.
Hey,
but I mean, if someone really wants to do an interview, that's what I want. I want people who want the interviews. You know, I don't like chasing people down and badgering them and trying to get them to do an interview. I'd rather they actually just want to do one. So, you know, if someone, you know, is pushing for me, wants to do the interview, I'll do it, you know, and we'll find a way.
Well, you know what, Fishy? When I started watching your channel and I saw the interviews you're doing, I'm like, I want to be interviewed by Fishy. I mean, who doesn't want to be interviewed by Fishy, really? I mean,
right?
I feel like a rock star, right?
Right? You are, man.
So
level 6 master fly tire, bro. If that's not a rock star, I don't know what is.
I mean, you know, I gotta be honest. I don't really choke up and get nervous around people. I used to be a social host for Carnival Cruise Lines. So I'm used to dealing with large groups of people and getting on the mic and talking it up and having dance parties and wherever the fun was on the ship, that's where you find the Superfly. Oh, and when I was a social host, my social host name was Joe Delicious.
Oh wow. Joe Delicious. Okay.
And I didn't call myself that. Our boss, so the cruise director, when you come on the ship, he gives you a name. And that's what he called me. He goes, "You're the Joe Delicious." So everywhere where I was on the ship, hey, there's Joe Delicious. So yeah, I'm kind of used to being a bit in the limelight, but then I'm not going to get into all the story, but when I got off ships, working on ships, I met my wife, the beautiful Mrs. Superfly, and ever since then, I've never ever considered going back on ships. I mean, ship life is just brutal. But I kind of quieted things down for quite a bit. So like I've never any other jobs or things that I've had. I was much quieter and calmer, and so only like doing this live streaming, like you'll see me in the live streams, you know, I'm typing lyrics to songs, and when I say I'm singing, like I'm literally like you don't see me in chat, but when I tell you, hey, you got the Superfly singing, I'll be like, I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. like I'm literally like that. So like I'll be behind my vice just bopping away, tying the flies and chatting with you guys. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm living the dream, man. Life is fun, and we just gotta just got to reach out and grab those people who are good in our lives and just have fun and enjoy it. But you know what? You should be asking me questions. I know I'm
Yeah,
derailed.
we are 53 minutes in, and I've asked you 2 questions. Ah,
I've answered them and then some, right?
yes. All right. So we'll try and do our next series lightning round style. Uh, or let's do the origin story. We kind of already talked a little bit about it, but so how did you first get into fishing? Who were you with? Who introduced you to it? What was the first fish you ever caught? And why did fishing become important to you? I guess you already covered the important part. So yeah. Uh, first, how did you get into fishing? Who introduced you? And what was the first fish you ever caught?
Um, I'm gonna guess at the first part as the first fish I caught. I'm gonna have to guess rock bass.
Okay.
It might not have been a rock bass, so but I'm gonna have to guess it was a rock bass because that was a
The
wild.
Pearl Man wants to know if you sell flies.
I sell them sort of if I'm local to you. I'm not really good at shipping stuff, and unfortunately, if you're in the USA, right now it's almost impossible to do it. Um, it's a long drawn out story of why, and it's governmental, and I'm not going to bother with that. But so the short answer is I do. If you're
He
around,
does, but not really. His first fish he ever caught was maybe a rock bass. Who were you fishing with?
yeah. So I was fishing with my opa, which is grandpa.
Okay.
He's he was a very incredible man. He introduced me to fishing. Every time that I would visit my grandparents, my opa and oma, my opa would take me into the basement and pull out his huge tackle box and let me tear every piece of tackle out of it and spread it all over the table, and we would talk about this lure and that lure. And he had some crazy device from Europe that you put a piece of bait on, and it was like it would slam shut onto the fish, like it was spring loaded, and it had 2 like spikes on it, and it would slam shut on a fish. And it was back from the war days, because back in the war days they didn't have food on the table, right? So they had to eat fish to live. Like they weren't just catch and release and all that. Like they needed to eat fish to live. So when they caught fish, they, no joke, they caught them. So
Right.
yeah, so he always let me play with that and see all his lures, and we talk about it. And so yeah, and I used to spend my March breaks, so my parents would ask me, what do you want to do for your March break? I'm like, go visit opa and oma. And I just had such a fun time always hanging out with my oma and opa. And yeah, so I learned, he was the one who got me into fishing. And then when I got a little bit older, my mom took me fishing a lot. So my mom would, because she knew I loved fishing so much, she would take me out and we'd go fishing and whatever. And that's pretty much how I got into fishing. And that in those days I was like, lure fishing and rubber plastic fishing and worm fishing, floating a worm kind of situations. And then when I hit high school, it turned to fly fishing, and I never looked back. Once I started tying them flies and got my first fly rod. My dad, even though he's not a fisherman, did buy me my first fly rod. So yay, Dad. Once I got into fly fishing, I never looked back. I went full fledged. If I can't catch it on a fly, I ain't gonna catch it. I'll tell you that.
Okay. All right. So what body of water do you primarily fish then?
Oh man! So here in Ontario, within 20 minutes of me, we got 3 different rivers. So we got the Duffins Creek, which is here in Ajax, like it's on the Ajax Pickering border. That's about 6 minutes away from me. Then 15 minutes away from me is the Oshawa Creek, which I have fished a lot in my years. And then going another 15 minutes from that into Bowmanville is the Bowmanville Creek. And my parents live there, so I fish there a lot because they live like 2 minutes from there. So when I go visit my parents, I'm often got my rod with me, and I sneak down and duck down and go fishing there. And then there's another creek that's probably another 10 minutes away from that. And that's all the rivers I really fish. And then I fish Pigeon Lake and Pigeon River. I fish Rice Lake, although for some reason I went twice to Rice Lake in the last 2 years and caught nothing. And I'm like, what? So that's kind of weird for me because normally there's a lot of fish in Rice Lake. And then I fish in a place called Omimi. I kind of don't want to give away that spot because that's a honey
We were
hole.
just looking for the main, body of water. Like, do you prefer fishing in lakes, creeks, rivers, or is it all the same? Just as long as there's water, I'll get a fly in.
Yeah, like each, you know what? Each body of water has a different benefit to it, obviously, right? So if I'm there with my fly rod, I'm happy. In the spring, mostly the creeks and rivers. Yep. Obviously for trout, we got brown trout, rainbow trout, and speckled trout. But speckled trout are more up north. You can get them sometimes down here, but not really. They're really up north. So when it's spring, I'm in the creeks for trout. I like mousing, so I tie in crazy mouse flies, and which I can show you here. And I love going on the creeks with a good mouse. You fish one of these. You fish one of these, and it's all articulated. The legs are articulated. The belly's all articulated. So this
you get a lot of bass on that too from time to time, or?
Oh yeah, this is a bass. I've caught little muskies on it and pike.
Really?
Yeah, it's this is a big one. This is a big one, and then they go down to a little bit smaller. So this is about half the size of that one. Again, hang on, let me get it on the screen. The legs are articulated.
Wow.
So this is the smaller version, and then it goes down really small. And on that one, so here's the little tiny small one. Let me back it up. It's also articulated, and I catch a lot of like sunfish and bluegills and crappies and
what?
Yeah,
a little mouse like that?
Absolutely, yeah. But it's small, like it's just a little small guy. But see the tail? The tail has an extra hook in it. So there's a little stinger hook in the tail. So sometimes those little fish, I'll just get them they'll just come up and grab the tail because they're just trying to get a little nip of the mouse. But I'll get them on that. But I've caught them on the like they'll take down that mouse if they're active enough.
No, I gotta admit, when you think of flies and fly tying, there's really just kind of one sort of fly that you imagine, your standard fly. Like I never imagined some of the stuff that you do. Like that never registered in my head that would be fly tying. It's amazing. You do some really amazing stuff, really extravagant.
Now saying that, Fishy, I tie some flies that are more, I'm going to just call them artistic rather than fishable.
Functional, yeah.
Yeah, because like some flies, like a praying mantis. Praying mantis is a big fly. I mean, it's a big bug to begin with. I'm not going to spend 8 hours to tie one and then throw it in the water. It just I'm not going to do that because you know what? Why would I when I can take something much simpler that'll take me 10 minutes to tie or 15 minutes to tie still look really realistic and really, really good. But if I lose that, and not only that, because it's a smaller fly, I know you're going to ask me a question later about baits in particular and favorite baits and stuff. The smaller you go, it for me, because I catch a lot of smaller panfish and bass, and everything I catch is 5 pounds and under is my like perch, rock bass, sunfish, bluegills, crappies, catfish, but not channel cats, like bullheads, little bullheads. We don't have too much channel cats or big cats where I fish. They're mostly in the Lake Ontario and Erie and stuff. Most of the water I fish don't have those big channel cats. But my friend Richard, who's also here in Ontario, he used the technique that I told him, and he ended up catching he was out with a fly rod and caught a big channel cat the other day. And he's like, Superfly, I caught a big channel. So you can catch them on flies. What you need is a streamer fly that's about yay long, and you dip it in salmon juice, and then you just drag it. You got to make sure it's got a heavy weighted like a cone head so that it hits the bottom, and then you just slowly twitch it on the bottom, slowly, because catfish need to really smell that juice, right? Because you catch a lot of catfish, so they really gotta really smell that. So you don't want to be whipping that through there. But if you just twitch that slowly on the bottom, those catfish are just following along that salmon smell, and then they come up and they hit it hard. So,
I mean, honestly, you probably don't even have to twitch it. If you soak it in the salmon juice, you can probably just leave it sit there and it'd probably catch them.
Yeah, I would imagine so. But either way, it just because people ask me, you can catch catfish on a fly? Absolutely, absolutely. Every so often, not terribly often, I'll catch pickerel or walleye on a fly. I can do it. I don't usually fish the type of flies that require to catch them, and you got to go deep. They're deep. Their eyes are sensitive, right? So you got to fish them closer to the bottom to mid range. So I don't often fish in water that deep. But every so often I do, and I have caught a few on fly, so like it can be done. So, and the other thing I catch on a fly is carp. I enjoy carp on a fly.
I've been seeing. I don't know if you're subscribed to Colby Lindblom, but he's been catching carp on flies lately.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's not even trying to. He's trying to catch like walleye and crappie on flies, actually. And he keeps catching carp. So,
well, the funny thing is, too, like a lot of people don't realize this. Everybody thinks carp just eating off the bottom. Carp will eat off the top, too.
Oh, yeah.
When cicadas hatch, they love eating cicadas. So like, when there's a cicada hatch, you go out and you will catch a ton of carp. If you hit the right kind of bug at the right day, they'll come up and take it.
I actually used a Funyun floating on the top of the water to catch a carp once.
Yeah.
I was eating Funyuns while bass fishing a long time ago, and some of the Funyun crumbs were falling in the water, and I saw a carp come up, and he was scooping the Funyun crumbs right off the top of the water. So I broke off a piece of a Funyun, put my little bass hook in it, and tossed it out. And sure enough, I caught a carp off of a top water Funyun.
Absolutely. I might have to make a Funyun fly.
There you go.
If you want to know my wackiest fly, this is it.
What do we got here? What's this?
This is called the Paul's Toe. And, yeah, so it's going to be a top water one. It's very foamy, and if you want to know, yeah. So my buddy Paul Outdoors, that's his channel. He's a funny guy. I love hanging out there with Paul. And one day we were on his channel, And my buddy Solo said, "Paul, your toes are sticking out of your sandals." And he said, "We should take one of them toes and cut it off and dip it in the water and catch a fish." And we were joking about it. And I said, "Hey, I can tie a Paul's toe." And everybody's like, "Superfly, you're nuts." Anyways, while we were actually in his live, I tied up the Paul's toe.
Nice.
So that's the craziest fly I ever tied
That's pretty good. Now, has it caught a fish? That's okay.
I'm assuming because it's pretty big, it's going to be a bass that's going to have to take.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And our we're not here in Ontario, Canada. We're not allowed to catch them bass until the third weekend in June. So we're still a couple of weeks from that. But when they open up, I'm going to take out the Paul's toe and try and do an episode where I catch a fish on Paul's toe.
Sounds like a plan.
So that'll be hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I was going to ship him one again before I found out how ridiculously it was going to be to ship him one. But I was going to make him one and then have a little competition online to see which one of us could catch the first fish on the Paul's toe. But unfortunately, anyways, I'm not even going to talk about that. That just upsets me.
All right, what fish are you best at catching, and what fish is your favorite fish to catch?
Wow, that's a tricky one. So best would be. I don't have the best because when I'm pan fishing, all those little fish eat equally. So when I like bluegills, sunfish, rock bass, and perch and crappies, all those fish eat equally for me. So like when
we can just call it panfish then, yeah?
Just call them panfish.
Okay, you're best at catching panfish.
But my best fish that I love catching is smallmouth bass. I love to catch smallmouth bass. Smallmouth bass are crazy. They'll dive, they'll jump, they'll swim to the left real quick, they'll swim to the right real quick. I hooked into a 6-pound smallmouth bass one time, and that's big for our waters. So right. I hooked into one 6 pounds, and
I've never caught one that big.
That thing was spinning so I was in a float tube, and that thing was spinning my float tube around. And not only was that, I was in very deep water when I hooked it. So I was probably 80 feet of water. I was fishing with a fly, but so even though the water was 80 feet, it was like a rocky ledge. Like it just kind of goes like a little island, and then it just comes down rock wall down to 80 feet. Anyways, That thing came out of nowhere and inhaled my fly and just took it and dove down, had to be to the 80 feet. Like it just my line. I was like, holy crap. Anyways, the very next second, the line went slack. And I'm like, I lost it.
Right.
I didn't lose it. It swam up that 80 feet in like 4 seconds, and it jumped over my float tube. Over my head and behind me, and I'm here trying to, and I could see it took the line with it, so I'm reeling up the line. I'm like, holy crap!
Right.
Anyways, I get this thing and then it's just jetting out straight out, like, oh man, like, and I'm like, that was a fight for my life. I was just like, and the head shakes, then it just head shaking like you wouldn't believe. I was just like, holy crap. So that was probably my personal best smallie that I've landed. He was 6 pounds.
That's an incredible smallmouth.
I was just like, what? Now I've hooked into other 6-pound smallies, but I have not landed that many 6-pound smallies. I've hooked into probably, I'm going to say 8 in my entire life. 8 large 6-pound smallies, but only one I got to shore. All the rest got off. And I've like, but even a 1-pound smallie, they fight like their life depends on it. They'll put you still on a good run.
Right.
I've probably lost as many smallies as I've hooked into. So like the same amount that I've landed, I've lost that same amount because they're just crazy. Like when you fight a smallmouth bass, it is like you might as well be fighting a human opponent because you know what? They got a 50-50 chance of getting off that hook. They will rub into rocks. They will go into trees. They will dive into weeds. They'll get off that hook. I mean, you have to hold on to a smallmouth regardless of its size. They are in my opinion the absolute best fighting fish. They are just crazy and I will love them. One day I went out with a little repeller fly that I make. It's a fly, but it's like kind of repeller like, and I caught 250 smallmouth bass in one afternoon, and that was my best smallmouth.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Did you say 250 smallmouth bass?
Absolutely, and they were all in this range, so they were all a pound and a half. 2 pounds.
I'm sure they were all different ones, or were you catching the same one like 25
Oh man!
times?
Oh, Fishy. They were all. It was nuts. It was nuts. It was my best day ever.
I've never heard of anything like that. That's unreal.
Now, saying that, I've had 300 fish days, but not 300 smallmouth fish days. Like that day was phenomenal. Like that was a wild day for me. And you know what? The sad part is I didn't own a camera at that time because this was a bunch of years back. So I wasn't YouTubing or anything like this was years back. And it was I wish I could have filmed that. That would have been a wild. I don't think anybody, you know what? Maybe people don't believe me, but you know what?
It's a heck of a fishing story. I'll tell you that much.
I've had days fishing that I don't even believe
anything, much less smallmouth bass. That's
so.
I've never targeted them. That being said, I've never caught more than one per fishing trip. So every time I catch a smallmouth, it's on accident when I'm catfishing. Occasionally, a smallmouth will pick up the cut bait, and then I'll catch a smallmouth. You know, or I've had them hit the live bluegill, like when I'm flathead fishing or pike fishing. Smallmouth will snatch up a whole live bluegill real quick. So
smallmouth as a whole, they are the other thing about them. So forgetting their actual fighting style, their hunting style. Now that's a whole different thing too, because a lot of fish you can see them. Like when you're casting out, maybe not. I don't know about catfish because obviously they're on the bottom, but a lot of fish. When I'm fishing, I see well before that fish. Like I can see it coming for my bait. I see it like I know. Like I drop a fly, I see like a dozen fish coming at my fly. They're gonna fight for it. Who's gonna get it? Whatever. But smallmouth, they will come out of nowhere, like literally nowhere. Like you would just next thing they're on your fly. And the other thing is they'll come up, they'll look at your fly, and they came out of nowhere. You'll see them for half a second, and the next thing they'll reject your fly and be gone. Like they're not always like so. Like they're either going to commit on the spot or not commit, and then if they don't commit, they're gone, and you're like, where the hell? And you can cast all over and be like, where the hell they come? Where?
Yeah. Yep.
They just disappear. You know, like Homer Simpson when he just kind of goes back into the weed. Back into the bush. They're like that. They'll just come out of nowhere, take a look, and they're either going to commit or not, and then they're gone. So I just love them because of that. Just because of the fact that they're like so mysterious and they're just so crazy. And if you're gonna fight, like panfish are not like they put up a fight, but they're not fighting you like. They're not fighting like crazy. Like if you hook into a bluegill, chances are you're gonna land it. I mean, once in a while they get off, but more or less, you hook that fish, you're gonna bring it to shore, right?
Right.
But like the smallmouth is just a fish that you never know. You hook one and you're just like, my eyes open up and I'm like, okay, we're in, buddy. Let's go. And I can't say, oh, I got one. I never say fish on until I get it in, because it's like I never know if that fish is going to beat me or I'm going to beat it.
It's kind of like with muskie and pike fishing. Like you'll be fishing somewhere, and you're looking in the water, and you don't even see any fish. You're like, I don't think there's any fish in this water, but you're casting that lure, and you might cast it, 100 times, and then all of a sudden you're reeling it in, and out of nowhere you see this giant shine of silver and these teeth chasing your lure.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times that ends up in bang, the fish hits it, and you're reeling a big fish in, or it ends in you just saw a big fish follow your lure and then disappear. You're like, what? Why didn't he take it? He was following it. But yeah,
that's the thing. That's why they call muskie the fish of 1,000 casts, because
10,000.
or 10,000 casts, because you know what? It's it's kind of like a luck thing, but I mean it's skill, but you got to be there, and they're just when they come, you just got to be ready for that.
Yep.
Or as ready as you can be. I mean, because usually after you get to the 999,000th cast, you're
you're not expecting any fish to actually come. So when it finally does, you're not ready. You're like, wait, I forgot what to do. Yeah. And then, well, what makes it worse is so most of the time I catfish, right?
Yeah.
And it is the exact opposite of muskie fishing. So with muskie fishing, you have to be ready to set the hook, set it hard, set it now, right? Catfishing is the exact opposite. You use circle hooks and you do not set the hook. You wait and wait and wait for the fish to set the hook himself. You give him all the time in the world. You let him get that bait fully in there, and you let him set that hook. If you try to set the hook on a catfish too early, you'll just pull the bait out of its mouth and you won't get it. Muskie, the exact opposite. When that fish bites, you got to set the hook. You got to set it now. You got to set it hard. There's no time to wait. So I go from having the patience to not set the hook to all of a sudden, just casting blindly for hours and days and weeks. And then I finally get a bite, and I'm supposed to suddenly change my entire year of remembering to not set the hook to no, I got to set the hook and I got to set it now. It's crazy. And then I forget, and then I'm mad at myself, and yeah, it's a wild world to try.
I always hate the beginning. So after winter, when you get out on the water for the first couple of times in the spring, and you haven't fished in a while, and it's like the muscle memory is gone now, and it's like, I know I can catch these fish, and you cast it out, and you keep missing fish because it's like your timing is totally off, because it's like,
yeah,
I said it because you're so excited to catch the first fish of the year that you're just not letting those fish take it, because you just see them coming for it and you start setting the hook. So,
right. Yep.
So it's like, no, you gotta slow down, let them take it.
When you first start every year, I could have swore I've caught a whole bunch of fish in my life. Do I not know what I'm doing? What's going on here?
and it's that day when you get a crowd of people around you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're like, oh, you're not catching anything? No. Why weren't you here last year when I had a 300 fish day?
Right.
So it's like, come on, guys. And that's always the case. So you go fishing in the morning, you catch, 100 fish or whatever. And then in the afternoon at lunch, the sun comes up, the water gets really warm. The fish kind of take a bit of a break, they're chilling out. And that's when you're still fishing, because that's what us fishermen do, because you're still going to catch the odd one. But that's when the crowd decides, hey, buddy, you're not catching anything? Shut up. I just want to tell them, shut up. Why are you here?
That's what whenever people come into my lives, when I'm getting skunked, because it still happens all the time. I still get skunked all the time. And then they're like, does this guy ever catch fish? I'm like, go look at my shorts. I literally got 100 shorts of me catching trophy fish. Catch fish, all right? I just also get skunked.
I have a video on my channel, Fishy, of me catching literally every cast. I was using a grasshopper fly, every single cast had a fish on it. Every single cast for 10 minutes. And I cut the video short because it would just be a ridiculously long video. But for 10 minutes, every single cast. So I couldn't even tell you how many fish I caught on that video. I'm like, go watch that video and then talk to me after.
They say, oh, it's edited. AI, it's fake.
AI, yeah. And you know what else gets me? I'm a fly fisherman, right? So when I'm casting, if I'm casting 30 feet in front of me, when I do my back cast, I got 30 feet of behind me. So, and if I'm fishing at like a parky area or where there's a park, there's walkways where people can walk on, but they got to walk right behind me. Like they literally got to walk behind me. And it's like, are you stupid or blind or what? Like you can't see. And fly line is thick. Fly line is, and it's colored. So it's like fluorescent orange or yellow or green. You can't see.
They don't see if they're not looking.
Dude,
I don't know.
I got eye issues and I can see fluorescent colors. Like it's like one day I hooked a guy. So I was fishing, I was casting, and this guy walked right behind me and I hooked him in the head, and his reaction, like he didn't freak out or anything, but I looked back and I was like, oh hey, I hooked a giant sucker. And people are just like, you hooked that guy in the head. I'm like, hey, he walked behind me. I was here first. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't try deliberately hooking people. I mean, I keep an eye out for people. And my wife is usually close enough to me to be like, honey, there's people coming or whatever.
Well, that's nice.
But to be honest, like these people, or they'll just like, I'll be like a foot away from the water and they feel they got to walk in front of me. I'm like, there's a pathway behind you. What are you need to walk in front? Like they're walking around the water. You can't take 2 steps around me and carry on your merry way. You got to walk in front of me, and me being a fly fisherman to boot. It's like, come on, people. But I mean, people are going to be people. And what are you going to do about that? I saw you the other day, Fishy, you were all set up, ready to catch fish, and these bunch of people just come right in between you and the bridge there.
Yeah, well, there was actually, you didn't even see. They were moving in between my rods that were posted up in the ground. There was actually like 5 people, and they were trying to set up in between my rods. I'm like, how do you guys think this is going to work? Like, have you never fished before? Like, yeah. Wow. So yeah, I had to shut down my live and go to a different spot because even though I had been there for hours with my poles in the ground, posted up, people thought, yeah, we'll just come cast right over your pole. Sure.
You know, like for me, I'm a first come, first serve kind of guy, right? So if I go to a spot and there's a bunch of people, I'm going to look for another spot. I'm not just going to try and squeeze my butt in between all of you guys. You guys were here. You got here first. You woke up earlier. Early bird catches the worm, or the fish in this case. Have at it. I'll go somewhere else. But if I'm fishing in a spot and a bunch of people, like it's one thing if one person comes down, but you get these families come down with grandma, grandpa, uncle, auntie, everybody, and the dog and everybody, and the kids are running around, running in between your pools and lines. It's like, don't you understand that I was here first? And the other thing is too, like fly fishermen need a little more space than the average fisherman, because I mean, like I said, if we're casting 30 feet in front of us, we're casting 30 feet behind us. And when we're fly fishing, we're working 10, like we'll fish here, then we'll fish here, then we'll fish here, then we'll fish here. You come in here with your lures and your whatever kind of gear you got, and you're right into my line. And I can't even, I try to get out. That's why I got the pontoon boat, because I try to go out on the water as far away from people as I possibly can, and just avoid the hassle and the bustle, and that's why I don't live stream. I just record it. I got my chest mount or my head mount, and I just record it. You guys get to see what I'm fishing, and it's just more relaxed. But in the spring, before I can get in my inflatables, it's just a nightmare with the amount of people that are just in my way. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, that's why I like remote spots no one knows about. But yeah, money. Uh,
Money. All right, Fishy, next question, buddy.
what's a species of fish that you never caught that you'd like to? What's your dream catch? One you've never caught but you really want to.
I want to, well, my wife just said something kind of kind of true, but I was going to say tarpon in a float tube.
Oh,
I
that
want
is
to catch I want to catch a big tarpon in a float tube. I seen guys do it, and they fight. It's a big fight and just crazy. And I just them big tarpon. I think it'd be nuts. But in lieu of me being able to do that, because I'm probably never going to go there in my life to the where I can catch a tarpon. In lieu of doing that, we do have spotted gar here in Ontario, about a 2-hour drive for me. I've been very close to catching a spotted gar, but I've never actually hooked a spotted gar. They've hit my flies plenty of times, but the flies that I was using was just not going to hook into their beaks. So I this winter I tied up a few dozen garpike flies that are really cottony, and some with some nylon rope, and I fancied them up, and I'm really this summer I'm going to go down where I know they are, and when they're in there, there's you can walk on them. They're so thick you can
I want one.
You want one?
I want one. I want a nylon garpike fly. I actually have a fly rod. My dad got me one for Christmas this year, and I can fly fish, not that well, but my grandpa did teach me when I was young how to use a fly rod. I just don't do it often, but I've never caught a gar, and I really want to catch a gar. And that sounds like that would be a really good way for me to catch a gar is on a fly rod. That'd be pretty cool.
If you can get the right flies in front of them, and if you can time the time where they're there and you're there, they are absolutely a fun fish to catch. Like I said, it's on my bucket list to do because I haven't done it yet. So I'm going on a bit of a journey this summer. Last year I did go gar fishing. I had the right fly, but I was not there at the right time because they had all left. Because I went a little bit later in like the end of September, and they're already gone from this stretch of river. And the river where I can go and get them is like flat. It's really flat and like lots of sheetrock. So like you can walk barefooted through there, and it's only about up to your knees, and you're pretty much stepping on the darn things. I when I was there 2 years back, I was wading through there, and every time I took a step, they were just jetting out up from everywhere, like because they blend in so nice with this rock, you hardly even see them till you're right on top of them. And like I said, I had a lot of strikes 2 years ago, but didn't have the right flies. So I made the flies now. And then last year, I just missed them by a couple of weeks, I bet. And this year, I'm going to go right in the middle of the summer because I know that's when they're in there. When it's right the hottest, that's when those garpike are in there. So
Okay.
that's my dream fish, the garpike.
Let's see here. Do you have any fishing superstitions? Anything that you think brings good luck or bad luck?
Well, I'm not really superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not really superstitious, Fishy. I'm very information orientated. Let me put it to you like this. But I will say this: if you forget your rod at home, you're not going to catch any fish.
That's true.
So if you drive 2 hours away and forget
Well, it depends on whether or not you got a pocket reel.
That's true. But I've had that happen where I've driven an hour away from home and I got there and I'm like, where's my rod? Yep. So
Actually, you want to hear a funny story? Is that did happen to me one time. I somehow I drove all the way to the fishing spot. When I got there, I was like, I forgot my fishing pole. I did not have a fishing pole. But you know what I did have lying around in the car? I had line, I had hooks, I had my bait. So I just tied fishing line to a stick that I found out in the woods nearby. And
yep,
I caught fish on a stick. I sure did.
absolutely. Absolutely. I would
I'm
love
gonna
I would
let
have
not having a fishing pole get in the way of me catching fish. I'll tell you what.
man, if I didn't have a stick, I would have hand lined it.
Mm-hmm.
Just whip it
I
out with
wouldn't recommend that with braid though. If mono, you'd probably be all right. If you hand line with braid and you catch any sort of decent fish, that braid will cut your hands up, man. I cut my hands all the time just casting with braid because I use such heavy braid, and just the amount of repetitions of braid select because I use open fade
yeah.
rod, so I'm always touching the line. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see it. I permanently got a little cut on my
Yeah.
finger where I'm touching the braid all the time. It's always there. I've always got a little cut on my finger from braid.
And those cuts in those areas never heal either.
Yeah.
They're so. I've done that fly tying, man. I get a little cut.
I mean, in the winter when I stop fishing, it'll heal for a little while. But yeah, I've got that cut from spring to fall. It's there. That's okay.
The permanent fishy cut.
Yeah. Let's see. If you had unlimited money, resources, and a time machine, and clout, everything, you could take one person fishing with you, past, present, future, whatever, anywhere in the world, universe, whatever you like. Who are you taking fishing, and where are y'all going?
Can I take two people?
That, yep, we'll allow it. Two people. You can take
We'll
two
allow
people.
If I could go back in time and go fishing with two people, the two people would be my grandfather, my opa, and my sister who's passed on, my younger sister Lisa. I would go back and take them fishing and as to where, it wouldn't matter as long as we had water.
Yeah.
I might, if we have unlimited money, like you said, I might get a nice pontoon, one of those, the not the inflatable pontoons, but the big pontoons, just so we could like a party barge kind of thing, so we can all go on there. But yeah, those two people, I would definitely love the opportunity to do that again with. Yeah, so that's who I'd go with. They would. Me and my sister, we were thick as thieves, and my grandfather, me and him were. He was one of my greatest heroes in life, and yeah, I spent so much time with my grandpa. It's not even funny. And if there's any young kids watching, I know sometimes young kids watch these things. If you get a chance to spend time with your grandparents, definitely take the time and do it because they're not going to always be here, and you can learn so much from their generation, and they would love to spend time with their grandkids. Trust me. So that's my advice. That's my advice for the younger generation, and just spend time with people you love in general. Make time for people you love, your parents, your siblings, your family, because they might not always be here for you when you want them to be, and sometimes you do anything to get them back. So just enjoy the time you can, live the dream, live life, and treat people right. And yeah, that's my advice.
I like it. So last question here, kind of a dual part question. Is there anybody that you would like me to reach out and try to get on the show for an interview?
Well, I was talking to some people, and I know one person in particular who wouldn't mind you reaching out to him. And his channel is a little bit small, like mine. Actually, he might be just a little bit bigger than me, actually, but it's still a pretty small channel. And he's fly fishing like a pro.
Fly fishing like a pro.
Yeah, and I told him all about you and Emmy and chumming it up, and he said he would absolutely enjoy if you reached out to him. So I told him when my time comes, that's who I'm gonna shout out to. There's a lot of people I would have called on, but you've already interviewed them.
A lot of people say that. I'm surprised. Like I've interviewed everyone apparently already.
Well, there's still some up and coming people for sure who are.
Oh yeah.
Of it. I think more. There's some more fly fishing people out there and fly tying people that I think would enjoy being interviewed by you, Fishy. So I would definitely try and reach out for them. The fly fishing like a pro. He's a fellow fly fisherman. He does a lot of fly fishing, and so I was talking with him last night, and like I said, I told him about you and Emmy, and he's like, "Heck yeah, I would love to be interviewed." So
Okay.
I'm the type of guy who won't just throw a name out. I'm a gentleman about everything. So I ask people before I just so I spent the week asking people about that, Fishy, because I wanted to have an answer that was solid and polite and somebody who really, like you said, who really wants to be interviewed.
Right.
I did ask some people who are a little shy, but they're shy they're shy anyways as people. So they were just like, I'll just skip this one for now. And you know what, to be honest, being interviewed, even like I said, even though I've been a social host and the life of the party and all that, I got to admit, Fishy, I feel like I've been interviewed by a rock star. So like,
wow.
So like, it feels all the people who you've interviewed before me are like really tough acts to follow. Like,
yeah, it's really weird because like I first started interviewing people with like 5, 10, 70,000 subs back when I had like 500 subs, and then now I'm up to like, I don't know, 2,500 or something like that, and I'm interviewing people with like 200 subs, 500 subs. So it's like it's coming full circle. It's really cool. I like it.
Absolutely. And you know what? Regardless of who you interview, we're all great people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everybody deserves a chance to be seen and heard, and all the people you've interviewed. Like I've been going back and watching from the beginning down, and I mean, some of the people who I've been hanging out with lately, like Release to the Grease, Skipjack Cindy, G-Man, Papa, Luminaries, who else? There's Finn, Big Finn, Little Finn.
Anything's possible.
Anything possible.
Yep.
So all those guys and girls are fantastic people. I mean, they're definitely part of my community now because I just love those guys so much. I visit their chats. A lot of them, when I'm in their chats, and you know what? They make me personally feel very loved. I mean, they make everybody feel loved, but I don't know. I just feel very loved when I come and visit you guys because it's like Superfly, and it's just so cool being part of this community.
You've got a really fun, engaging personality, especially in the chat. Like you really stand out. Like I'm always excited to see what you're gonna say next. You know what I mean? You usually get a good little laugh out of me, and
like I said, that all. So I don't know if you're gonna believe this, but maybe you will. Like I said, when I was a younger guy, like out of high school and all that, I was really introverted. So I was not popular. I didn't hang out with people. I was happy to sit at home and tie flies and go out fishing by myself. I really was. And my grandfather and whatever. But really, like, drop me off at a river by myself, fish it, go home, tie my flies, test them out, retie them, go back to the river. So I was really I collected bugs. I've always liked animals. I've been an animal person and a bug collector, and I never grew out of it. I still have bugs in a tank by my bed. So like I collect them. I think they're fascinating. They're So I was a little bit of a geek and a little introvert, and I was very happy to be by myself, and that's what I was. And then I don't know what I one day I just was tired of things, and I snapped in my head. And around that time, my parents had taken my sister and I, back when she was still here, we went on a cruise, our first family cruise. And when we went on the cruise, I just was, my eyes were open. The people were fun. The parties were fun. And I'd never really partied before or been to parties. And I was like, wow, this is great. And then the social hosts on the ship, they took me to the private below decks parties where guests are not even supposed to go officially. And they just, this is the life. And I was just like, this is so much fun. So when I got back to shore, I started applying for cruise ship jobs because I'm like, I want to be a social host. And
Right.
I applied and applied and applied. And it took me a while. And finally, I got the first job. And I was just like, yes, yes. And I just, when I got on ships, I was living it up. Wherever the fun was, you found the Joe Delicious / Superfly. I was everywhere. So my shift was like, I had like, they scheduled us for little events and activities that we had to do, but I did way more than that. So I was working like 14-hour days. I'd get up in the middle of the night and just grab a microphone and go out on the deck and just start a dance party, or like wherever I was, I just be getting people's attention, or I just grab a game board and start playing games with people, or like I was like, I'd go to the karaoke bar and just start singing. So
Right on.
yeah, like I became from an introvert to an extrovert, and then I went full extrovert for like 2 or 3 years. And then when I came off ships, I guess, I don't know, I met my wife shortly after I came off of ships. And then I kind of introverted again for a little while I was with my wife. We were just, starting a marriage and all that things. And then after that, now, after, like, we took care of my wife's mom and everything while she was with us. And then after that, we just started going out and giving out puppets to people, and just, being good to people, and, just hanging out. And now I'm a little more extroverted again. Questions?
Oh, sorry. Chat questions. It's time for chat questions.
Chat questions.
Chat, feel free to ask Superfly your burning questions.
Hey, am I supposed to be able to see them?
I'll read them off to you.
Oh, you'll read them off to me? Okay.
Hi to everyone in chat. Sorry I don't say hi to people much when I'm doing the interviews.
Hello, chat.
Chat, please ask your questions now. They want to know if you breed tarantulas, and they want you to explain the hat.
I actually don't breed tarantulas. Although I probably could breed tarantulas.
Consider it.
The hat is some of my cooler ties. The scorpion, tarantula. Here's a brown recluse.
Wants to know if you watch No Frills, No Mercies, fly fisherman from Scotland that also ties flies, and he's fun to watch.
Who asked me that? Papa?
Perlman.
Oh, Perlman. That's Maddie. I think Maddie's an incredibly talented fella. I have been in his live chats. I think he's a really nice guy. The only problem I have, and I'm not putting anybody down, I'm not calling anybody out or anything like this. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, so I'm a Christian, and the language in there gets a little unhinged for me sometimes, and unfortunately, that's why I can't stick around in Maddie's chats for too much because of the language. But other than that, I do recommend him. He is a talented guy. He's a very generous guy. Definitely a good fly tire. So if that's your kind of, if you can hang around in that atmosphere, definitely check out Maddie. Like I said, he's a definitely
Northern Fishing and Outdoors wants to know if Superflies could fish with anyone from Ontario, who would it be?
Oh, geez.
And then he says me.
Yeah.
Fishing with Northern.
Northern would be a cool guy to fish with. Me and him have been in lots of chats together. I really appreciate brother Northern. There is another guy who I really like. His name is Richard. He's a really cool fisherman. He's in the other direction from you, Northern, but he's about 2 hours from me in the other direction. So I would his name is Action Fishing or Team Action Fishing, I think. But I just know him as Richard.
Fishing Dad wants to know, how many flies do you think you've tied total, if you had to guess?
Geez. You know what? Wow. You know what? Just as a challenge one of these days, I'm gonna count them. I'm just gonna take a counter and count them. But a lot.
That'd be a crazy short. That'd be a good short.
No, it wouldn't be a short.
You gotta fast forward it and then just get to the ending.
Oh, if I fast forward it, I could make it a short. But if I did,
Papa wants to know, what is your favorite fly to tie?
Oh, too many. Geez, I don't know. I recently enjoyed tying the copper Papa popper.
Okay.
That was a fun one. That's my most recent.
Northern brought up the puppets, which reminds me, I was going to ask, what's the deal with the puppets? What's the lore behind the puppets?
The puppets. The puppets are really a wife and husband side hustle kind of thing that we have been trying for years to make a business out of, but it's with the economy being so rough, people need to feed their kids rather than buy puppet performances and puppets and stuff. But we do a lot of giveaways with the puppets. So me and Maria, we give away a lot of puppets. We spend one weekend a month making like sock puppets and other puppets, and then when we go to Walmart and stuff, we give them away, and we give them away for Halloween and stuff like that. And also,
Northern says you're also a ventriloquist, and you're actually really good.
No, I'm not a ventriloquist. That's the thing. You just never see me because you always see the puppet, but you never see me.
There it is.
Right, Fishy? Like, yes. Fishy, I watch your channel all the time, Fishy, and I've been thinking, when you catch those catfish, you got to tell Grampy he's amazing.
Okay.
That's why I shouted out you and Emmykins, because you guys are incredible. And that's what I like it to do. I like it to meet you guys and hang out with you guys. And then I like to shout out your channels and let you know we love you. So next time you go down fishing, Fishy, you're going to catch a big catfish and shout out Grampy.
Okay. You got it.
All right.
Maybe I'm going sturgeon fishing tomorrow, so maybe I'll catch a sturgeon fish and shout out Grampy.
Oh, geez. That would be awesome. Sturgeon! Anyways, that's the deal with the puppets. So yeah, when I started doing puppets, So I'm not as into the puppets as I am to fly fishing and fly tying, because I've only been doing that for about 15 years. But I make all my own puppets and I perform with them. And I like when I made the Grampy puppet. I just enjoy doing shout outs for you guys, me and Grampy. And
They say that Grampy looks like Jimmy Boy from Lower Michigan Adventures. Have you ever seen that guy? He's a character.
I'm not sure if I have or not. I've seen a lot of
You
people.
remember if you've seen him once. He's wild.
If I haven't, I'll have to go and check him out.
That's another one. I'd like to interview him. I got to get him on the show.
Yeah, there's so many cool people.
Come on, you got any more questions for us?
Come on, chat.
We're gonna end it at the 2-hour mark. So you've got 5 more minutes. Get your questions in.
Yeah.
Get them in. Get them in.
Yeah.
I do want to thank you so much for doing the interview, man. It's a pleasure. I learned a lot. Super interesting, super fun, man.
My wife wanted me to show you this puppet.
All right.
Not that we're talking about puppets, Maria, but
do we have a Fishy Things puppet coming soon?
Do we need a Fishy Things puppet?
Yeah, we need a Fishy Things puppet with the gray suspenders, you know.
This is one of my dragon puppets.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, he's very, very cool. I take him out a lot. People dig him.
Hey, you're one of Lower Michigan's sidekicks? Yeah, tell them I want to interview him. Tell them to email me. My email's on my main page. I mean.
So, in case anybody wants to see, this is the case of craziness.
Oh, yeah, look at these. Look at these. Can we go full screen on this, Emmy?
Oh, there's so many. They're not
things. There we go. Now we're talking. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
So many crazy flies. This box is just full of different bugs.
And you said you do use every one of these?
Except everyone except for the butterflies.
Okay.
So, and the praying mantis. I haven't used the praying mantis. So this is my praying mantis. I haven't used him.
Oh, that's cool.
And the Dobson fly. I haven't used him, but this is a big fly. Like those are really, really, really big flies. But everything else I've used, like the bumblebees. I've used the bumblebees. They're really cool. What else is in here? The diving beetles are cool. My hornets are cool. Let me see if I got a hornet here. I got some wasps. Here's a yellow jacket. These do really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually do pretty good with them. What else do I got? I got a fly that everybody should have, because if you're a fly fisherman, this little tadpole. Tadpoles are crazy fish. The fish eat them like nuts. They just eat them by the tons. And I wanted to show you a dragonfly. Here's a dragonfly nymph, articulated.
Look more like an insect collection than fly fishing. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this
is really good.
These do really good. They love eating these off the surface, these dragons.
So you make all these live on your channel too?
Oh yeah, I do. Now saying that, I often get derailed by my subscribers, because when they're watching and chatting with me, so like if this dragonfly, he's gonna take a while to tie that.
Yeah.
So I usually go about sometimes 2.5 hours. Uh, he'll take me for sure that long to tie. So sometimes it might be show you part of it now and show you part of it later kind of situation, depending on the complexity. But yeah, I'm show all these kinds of things, how to tie them, and
Yeah, if the cat gets in the way of my fishing, I just ignore him. I gotta complete my task.
I don't know. You know what? I just love chatting with people though.
I do too. I do too.
So I try not to ignore them. So there's a honeybee that I tied recently, or fairly recently.
Nice.
So I know the camera is a little blurry because I have two different cameras. So I have one for when I'm chatting and one for when I'm tying. And the one when I'm tying, I took the cover off of it so I could manually adjust the focus. Because when I'm tying flies, you need to get in there really with the focus and make it clear. So unfortunately, today's interview is a chat camera day. So,
yeah. Oh, good, man. They still look pretty good.
yeah, no, they're you know what, I've been doing it for so long and I just enjoy it. Here's a streamer, a nice streamer pattern. This one looks really good. This is a bass killer. I catch so many smallmouth and largemouth on this one, and it's got the little repeller lip on it.
Oh,
So
sure.
so
Yeah.
when it floats on the surface, but when you start retrieving it, it goes down about, I don't know, a foot or so below the water, and those bass just come up and slam this. They really love this fly. Yeah, so many good flies. So many good flies. My crayfish fly. Uh, here's a crayfish pattern. This one is killer, and it's got articulated claws. So when it's in the water, it floats up like this, and the claws wave, and those smallmouth and really love it. And I caught a nice perch on it last week.
Oh, really?
I wasn't expecting to catch a perch on it, but the perch was really, it was a good perch too. So yeah. So but a lot of times, I don't know if you guys seen this. This is supposed to be a micro crankbait. So it's got the little lip on it. It's about the size of the tip of my finger. And yeah, so, and I did it in fire tiger colors.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I haven't fished it yet, so I'm not gonna make any claims. So I gotta find out how it floats with that crank and see how it goes. I'm hoping that it floats, and then when I crank it, it's just gonna go subsurface.
I mean, yeah, if it doesn't come down at all, maybe you can put a little split shot out on the line a little bit,
Yeah, I might have to do that. Or fish it with a sinking fly line. I do have sinking fly lines.
Oh, there you go.
It'll pull it down a bit. But these little plastic lips I just make out of recycled pop bottles and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, or like when I bought a new fly rod, it came in a plastic box, and the plastic from there was the right thickness. And you just got to make sure that the plastic you use is strong enough to hold in place. Because if you use like a flimsy plastic, the water will just push it out of the way. So it has to be like a little bit thicker. But I got a lot of
like closer to the mouth of the bottle, probably.
Yeah, closer to the mouth. Yeah. So, but yeah, these are fun. I got other patterns that are bigger, a little bit bigger than this, but they're designed after Rapala, and they work really, really well.
Fishing Dad wants to know if you've ever tied a zipper fly.
A zipper fly?
Yeah.
No, but I've got a fly caught in my zipper before.
Oh.
It was not pleasant. I'll tell you that.
Like he set you up for that. Set you up.
He did set me up.
All right, brother. What do you got coming up? What should we look forward to? You got any events, any shout outs you want to do?
Tomorrow is my Sunday live stream. So every Sunday at 7 p.m. till 9:30 ish is my live stream times. So if you want to see some fly tying and whatever, we often we'll tie flies, but we'll talk about fly fishing or talk about any other kinds of fishing you guys want to talk about. So, I mean, I try to keep it fly related, but I welcome every fisherman in, and if you have so before I was a fly fisherman, even though I've been fly fishing the longest in my entire life, I used to fish with lures and worms and rubbers and plastics and baits and things. So we can talk about anything you want, but that's pretty much it. If you guys want to join, and then throughout the week, I try, if depending on the week, I try to get one more live in there. They're usually not as long as Sunday nights, but yeah, I just try and spend as much time with you guys as I can, and that's pretty much it. If you like the puppet shout outs and stuff, go check out my Laugh Out Loud Puppets channel. I don't just do shout outs to people, although I do a lot of shout outs to people, but there's other videos on there on all different kinds of topics and things with the puppets. So if you check that out, I would appreciate that. And I just want to thank Emmykins and Fishy personally, and say it's been an honor and a pleasure to come on Chumming It Up with you guys. I was really excited when you asked me. I'm grateful to the people who recommended me. Like I said, G-Man and Papa, I know, were two that were shouting me out 2 weeks in a row because I watched their interviews. So I love you guys, G-Man and Papa. And thank you, G-Man. I love hanging out with you guys and all your gang and your hooligans that hang out with you on your chats. And I look forward to doing more of that. And like I said, if you need to reach out to me any further, you know where to find me now.
Yeah, I got your number now. You can't get away from me. I guess you could change your number.
It isn't going to happen. I got a cool number.
Yeah.
My number is cool, so I'm not going to change it now. Too late for that. I've had that number for a long time.
All right, thank you so much. Superfly for Super Guys. He'll be live tomorrow tying flies. Thank you, man. I'll catch you all later.
All right, Fishy.